There we go. Hi, Nobi. How are you?
I'm well, Joshua. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. So again, I'm Joshua Mackey with Geeks of Color, and I'm super excited to be interviewing you today to talk about your new show, Hit Monkey. And so, you've got a very diverse portfolio here. I mean, an extensive background in creative direction, video production, not to mention directing a audio drama, The Leviathan Chronicles. And so you're obviously not a stranger to voice talent, because now here you are playing Ito. What was that like getting involved with this project?
Oh, it was crazy. It was unexpected. I just moved to LA from New York City. And, I just kind of put my name back out there just for some acting gigs and things like that. And this just landed on my lap. Julie Ashton casting hit me up and we're like, we're getting every Japanese American actor we can find in for this show. And I just kind of waltzed in and then I don't know, and it just happened. It just happened. So,
I mean, serendipity. I love to hear that. I mean, now, granted, that's how it came to be. How does it feel, though, to be a part of a Marvel show?
it's unbelievable. It's a real honor to just kind of have like a little part of the like etching your name in that like tree. There's a little bit like at the root or somewhere in the middle, but it's I wish that I wish that like I could articulate it in a way that could express exactly, and I'll try. Why not? I think that it's probably the most proud I've been as an actor, just because it wasn't just the Marvel thing, but just the fact that they treated this show in a way that really wanted to find some sort of like authenticity with the performances. And for me, taking my experiences as like a Japanese American, but for someone who has a pretty deep ties to Japan, both professionally and personally, and being able to take all that experience and just siphon that into a vocal performance, I never expected that to happen, and I will always be just grateful for it.
I mean, that is amazing to hear, and especially to hear the cultural context that you also get to bring part of your role as Ito on top of that.
Mhm.
And you're not alone in doing this. You're surrounded by an amazing cast of folks from George Takei, Olivia Munn, Ali Maki, Jason Sudeikis. What was it like to work with such an amazing cast?
I would love to say that we were all holding hands during the recordings. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, we didn't even get to do a real table read. So I've only met Ali separately from the show, but being able to listen to some of the performances as production rolled along and as we got closer to just doing our pickups and just like just fleshing certain things out and re-recording, that was a real treat, because being able to hear them in that way, knowing their work as actors, but then like seeing the visuals at the same time, and then going, oh yeah, this is definitely, if I didn't have any doubts before, but at that moment I knew that this show was going to be a monster. I think people are going to love it.
Oh, I think so too. And from what I've seen so far, I mean, the comedy, again, the cultural context as well. I'm also a fan of some of the graphic violence scenes, but it goes there, and I think that it really does. And it's, amazing. It's like an amazing opportunity just to see that come to fruition, to be a part of Marvel and on Hulu. And you've already alluded to this a little bit, but what was that like getting into character to portray Ito on top of that?
Oh gosh, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I started off like going full Japanese. Like I really based my performance. I went to where I thought, like, if my dad was speaking this role, what would that sound like, right? Which is a little thicker, right, in terms of the accent, but authentic in the sense that really based off of just the sounds of the Japanese language. And then, you know, evolving that from that point to something that's a little more fluid, to the American ear, but still like holding on to certain things that, really meant a lot to me, just like name pronunciations and things like that, where I really wanted it to still be, authentic. That's where a lot of that work came in, because because, I think that, as like having all these people with like, very particular approaches to, the vocal work and the accents, it made sense because, in Japan, there are so many regions and there actually are very, different accents according to those regions. I think that we were able to build like a soundscape that, it's not going to be one-to-one accurate, but at least in the spirit of things makes logical sense.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and thank you for touching on that. I find it interesting because there's actually a scene between you and Animaki's character Haruka where Ito calls that out about Haruka's accent. So it's interesting to see that there's also going to be more depth to it and not simply some monolithic look at what Japanese culture is. And I think that's a great thing to see.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was really smart writing, just like a really thoughtful approach to just the atmosphere and like the world. That's kudos to everybody who worked on the show, especially in the writer's room. And of course, Josh and Will and, Neil, our director, was like, always thinking, always like considering, is this right? Is this right for this world? Is this right? For the actors and the audience and on all of that. So I do have to give extra special props to those guys.
Definitely so. And I mean, now, again, Marvel, got to pinch yourself, see if it's real.
I am here.
Right? You are here in this moment.
I'm with you. Yes.
And one thing that you're also hearing is you're here a part of the diversification of Marvel and its next phase. I mean, the new casts that are coming through with the new properties are more and more diverse. How does it feel to be a part of that too?
Oh, it feels great. I mean, it's our time. This is the way it should have been, years ago, but I'm happy it's happening now, especially with like, the momentum, the juggernaut that Marvel is. It's not going to just be this one-off that happens. I mean, the whole movement, it's not just going to be this thing just kind of like, oh, here's one property with some Asian people in it. And then it kind of disappears again. The thrust of just the Marvel universe is really going to, I think, change and shape things for people of color for a long time.
I think so too. And it's just an amazing trajectory to see and amazing for you to also be a part of on top of that.
I am pinching myself still.
I love it. I love it. And, obviously, you're finishing up this project, but you had a lot of preparation for this one. Again, you're a person of all trades, so you prepared for so many different things within creative direction and film direction. What was it like preparing for this role versus anything else? What would you compare it to? Or if you can contrast how that was?
Oh, gosh. I mean, like I would have to compare it to Leviathan Chronicles, which is the project I was directing for a long time, because that was mainly voice acting. So I think, a lot of that experience that I took away from directing that show and also acting in that show, because we started at a time where we couldn't really find a lot of actors who were interested in doing podcasts. All the mistakes and all the sort of little successes we had on that show definitely helped me prepare for this role, because, I knew the traps, that kind of lay ahead, at least for, whether or not it's accent or performance, but also like, standing in front of a mic is not easy. A lot of people think like, voice acting is, just kind of like you've got, film acting, TV acting, and then voice acting. But no, voice acting is just like the amount of energy and physicality and nuance that can go into a vocal performance, I think. And there's that freedom also of no camera. I think it's some of the most interesting or sets an actor up to deliver one of like more interesting performances that they can deliver. So
no, definitely. Now, with this being said, Marvel has been crossed off the bucket list. What's next?
Mega Millions?
All right.
Powerball? I don't know. Marvel, I mean, it's what's wonderful is that, the opportunities for, actors of all color and all like types, people like me who specialize in voices, I hope that there's, this expands into whomever, is interested in telling a unique story from, a unique perspective. So hopefully more roles for Asians are being written, more roles for Black people and Spanish people and, people, underrepresented people of, of all ethnicities start to get more like things to chew on, and I think that it's a long road ahead, but like I said, the thrust of this, I think, will help us get us there.
Honestly, and that's my hope as well. And I mean, there's so many new properties that are out featuring predominantly Asian casts. And so you're a part of that too. And it's going to be great for other folks who get to see you and so many other Asian actors and voice talents out there just showing off that, hey, we deserve to be here too. So I am so glad that other people are going to be able to see that too. And before we go, what's one thing that you want for all the readers of Geeks of Color to know about this show?
Ooh, the one thing I want all the readers of Geeks of Color to know about the show. This show is absolutely glorious. It's in many ways, and no matter what angle you look at it, whether or not it's from a diversity angle or storytelling angle or Japanese American angle or Japanese angle, you're going to be surprised, and I think you're going to be fulfilled. So.
I love it. I love it. I mean, with that, thank you so much, Nobi. I really appreciate the time to talk about you, your trajectory, and your new show, Hit Monkey.
Oh, thank you very much, Joshua. It's great to talk to you.
Likewise.
See you soon.